Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Pump and Dumps. I'm your host, Lassal Inungu, and today we've got another special one for you here. Another stock that's insanely overvalued and will never reach the absorbent expectations that investors have for this company. I don't believe this company ever intends to make a single dollar in the business that they're in. Ticker is American Battery Metals, ticker ABML. Folks, let's get right into it. So what is American Battery Metals? American Battery Metals describes itself as a technology battery recycling and resource production company based out of Nevada. The company has been in some form or another publicly traded since 2011. It has roots in the Dominican Republic. And folks, this is a company that has benefited from the insane run that we've seen in EV stocks. Over the last couple of years, we've seen what's happened to Tesla stock, NIO, Solo, and many others, particularly in the SPAC space, that have risen 300, 400, 500%. And ABML has been a beneficiary of that run. And it's unfortunate because I believe many investors are going to lose a lot of money trading this stock. Now let's learn a bit more about the company and who's behind it. The current CEO is Douglas Cole, and this is a man who ran the company when it went by its previous name, Oropplata Resources. Now, Oropplata Resources described itself as a company that was looking to mine lithium, and when that gig was up, he decided to then change the name into American Battery Resources, change the scope of the business to where now the company is looking to recycle used and old batteries. The first time I find his name in any filings is back on February 20th, 2017, where in a 10Q, the board of directors appointed him to serve as a member of the board effective February 28th. A couple months later, I find another 10Q where he is now the CEO of the company. That was dated August 21st of 2017. He then signs as CEO and CFO of the company. Again, 2017. Keep that in mind. Now, for the 5 reasons that I want to give that I believe make this a horrible investment long term. Number 5, the lack of skin in the game, and really the lack of proper use of capital that you see throughout the history of this company. For the most part, when you're dealing with publicly traded companies this small, you find that the CEOs own a large percentage of the business. This is not something you find in the ticker ABML. In fact, if you add up all of the shares owned by directors, owned by the CEO himself, it equals to less than 10% of the outstanding stock. Understand that, you take a company like Amazon, multiple $trillion company. Jeff Bezos owns 10% of his company. So to see such a much, thousands of percent smaller, you have the same level of ownership that Jeff Bezos has. That's pretty sad on this level. The current company has accumulated a deficit throughout its history of over $102 million, folks. $102 million have gone up in smoke by this company. The company has earned no revenue in its existence, even a single dollar. And here's the thing. In the OTC space, you will find where CEOs partner together to create fake revenue, right? They'll say in a news release, we have successfully earned a contract to do X, Y, and Z, or we are going to plan on purchasing X, Y, and Z from another OTC publicly traded company, and the deal actually never goes through. But they haven't even bothered to do that. They haven't even bothered to create fake revenue. They're just up and honest about the fact that they're never going to make money, and they never have made money. And I'm going to prove that to you right now. So when we go through the 10Qs, we find, and again, remember, I said the company was started in 2011. So in 2014, we see in the 10Q dated August 13th that Oropplata has not made any revenue from its exploration and what it net name was a property that it had some ownership in. and will not do so until sometime in the distant future, or maybe never. That is stated in 2014. Fast forward 3 years, or apply its date of inception, it has not produced no revenue and maybe will not be able to produce revenue. We see that in 2017. Now, the business has been publicly traded now for 6 years, not a single dollar in revenue. 2019, another 2 years. And remember, the individual who runs the company has been now a CEO for going on 2 years. So you can't leave his responsibility out here. May 21st, another 10Q. The company has not realized any value from its exploration activities and may not realize any value for many years, if at all. They're being honest with you folks because they haven't and they never will. On the 2021, just recently, a couple days ago, 10Q released 216. As at the December 31st, the company has not earned any revenue. Folks, this is a company that has not earned a single dollar in revenue in over 10 years as a publicly traded company. Let us continue. The articles of incorporation authorized the issuance of almost 1.2 billion shares of common stock. And as of January 25th, the company has about over 500 million shares of common stock outstanding. If you go on OTC markets, I believe now it's 527 million. The point is there's a whole lot of money to continue to print for this company to sell and dump on investors to dilute. So here's my fourth reason, and that's again the increasing need for dilution. The company states in this recent 10Q, we believe we require a minimum of $10 million of working capital over the next 12 months in order to fund our current operations. What operations? I'd like to know what operations, because there aren't any operations, excluding the construction of 4 of our initial recycling facilities near Reno, Nevada. So they're telling you they need $10 million for running as a publicly traded company. And that $10 million doesn't even include what is expected to build out the facilities they wish to intend to do business in. And I've already showed you the company has already lost and burned through $100 million over the last 10 years. On January 19th, the company issued 486,000 shares for past legal fees, the fair value of $35,000. Folks, 10 years, the company is still giving shares to pay for something as basic as legal fees. Keep it going. The company also recently purchased what's called the pilot factory land. This is a pile of land out there that is undeveloped out there in Nevada. This is the piece of land that they are intended to, quote, build 5 buildings in order to actually, do the battery recycling that they plan to perform. Since the 8 months that have passed, no construction has taken place at the location. The company has estimated it, to take as much as 24 months to completion. Again, that has not begun at all since the purchase of that land, and it will never begin, to my estimation. 3, the company has very sketchy hiring practices. It seems to me that anybody who is ex-Tesla can get a job there. Many of the individuals who are associated with American Battery Metals are not full-time employees. They happen to be individuals who have some experience in the space, but are not being paid full-time, or possibly being paid, by stock. They're either working for stock. It's very sketchy in terms of the individuals involved. And you can go on the website and Google their names and look up their LinkedIns. You don't find any real reputable individuals involved in this company. I say that, and I don't plan to go into too deep in that because I understand people have families and they have jobs and livelihoods. But those of you guys who are associated with this company, I believe you should distance yourself, honestly, because what is going on here is just not reputable. Number two, I honestly believe that, the individuals who are invested in this stock are grossly underestimating the legal liabilities here that ABML could be party to in case of a spill or a danger, or some exposure to the incredible amount of chemicals that are produced in the recycling of lithium and cobalt and many of these other metals that ABML says or intends that we'll never be involved in. So with that being said, I honestly believe that investors are really deluding themselves about real potential here. And that's kind of reason why, only 1% of the battery metals that we find that we need in the EV space and we need in our cell phones, that's why they're produced here in the United States, less than 1%, because we find that recycling of these metals is incredibly toxic to the environment, incredibly dangerous to the individuals who are involved in that kind of work, and could lead to high levels of cancer, possibly even radiation, and certain death to an extent. So, that's why it's literally only one facility, one major facility for this process here in the United States. So again, investors grossly underestimating the time required and the amount of money that's going to be required to conduct this kind of business. So last but not least, we've got to have a conversation about valuation. As it stands right now, the company's valued at $1 billion. The company has not made a single dollar in revenue. I don't believe it ever expects or ever intends. I don't believe it ever will make a single dollar in revenue. This is an incredible opportunity to short a stock, I believe, above $2.25. That's where I would love to make an entry here. I'm not currently short the stock, but I would love to short the stock above $2 because there's nothing here, folks. There's nothing here. There's nothing that's been here for 10 years. The company intends to lose much more money. The company has a history of losing money and will continue to lose money. We have no protection as investors but to spread the word and protect each other. The Securities and Exchange Commission is a worthless agency. They have no intent to protect investors because they have not protected investors over the last 10 years that this company has been used as a piggy bank for the individuals involved over the last decade. The company, again, valued at $1 billion, 10 years of no revenue, no completed production facility, no IP, and no EPA approval. There are other stocks that I could have talked about today. I went back and I really seriously tried to figure out which ones to talk about first. Ocobre, ORCF, I suspect that to be a fraud. Livent, that one's it's a legit company. Power Metals, I suspect that one to also be a fraud. Lithium America is legit, losing money, but Galaxy Resources, Pilbara, Australian miners, they are taking stuff out of the ground, so I consider them to be legit. But folks, this is a space that is very, very dangerous, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose money. Keep all of these suspected frauds, in my opinion, in a short list because there's going to be a lot of money made on the downside. I've been your host, Lassal Inungu. You watched another episode of Pump and Dumps.